and welcome back to another episode of The Rundown, guys. Appreciate you guys for joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with everything with James Gunn and stuff. We're just going to quickly go through everything, and I want you guys to share your thoughts on each movie and TV show that he announced. I'm going to talk a little fast. Thanks, Navigator, for telling me to turn up the damn mic. Guys, if there's anything you want to talk about, let us know in the comment section. I'm watching it right now. We're back on the old system, Joey and I, and because we have some computer problems, but hopefully with the old laptop, old Betsy here might get us going good today. So, guys, anything and everything you want to talk about with regards to, you still can't hear us, Nixon? I'm showing that it's good. Is it working now? This is what Joy is saying. Come on. LOL. I love that you correct me for helping you out. No, you can. So you can hear me now, huh? Yeah. Okay. It's all good. All right. Okay. Yeah. It's like, all right. So thanks, babe, for fixing it for me. Thanks, babe. Yeah. So you're feeling me now that never mind. I bet I finished that sentence. Anywho, let's get right into it, babe. So James Gunn, early this morning, he dropped a bomb on all of us. We thought that he was only gonna talk about a few TV shows, maybe a few movies, maybe Superman, something like that. But he dropped 10, I think, like 5 TV shows that are coming out, and 5 movies. I think for 6 or 4, something like that. It was a total of 10. So these are the 10 projects that James Gunn and Peter Safran have dropped unloaded on us all. And guys, like I said, let us know what you guys think and share your thoughts on each one of us, with each one of them. Let's start with the first one that came. Let's talk what we have with Creature Commandos.
Creature Commandos is an animated 7-episode series written by Gunn that is already in production. Originally a team of classic monsters assembled to fight Nazis, this is a modern take on that concept. The voice actors have yet to be cast, but the executives are looking to find people who can voice the animated characters and also portray the live-action versions when the anti-heroes show up in movies and shows.
This is one of those series that it's right up in Gunn's alley, the weird stuff. I think I've only seen a few of these in only on cartoons, and so I'm not surprised that this is going to be another animated series. I think I've seen these characters, or at least the Frankenstein one. These are all the characters of Medusa, werewolves, and Frankenstein, teaming up throughout the years to fight Nazis and stuff like that. It's weird. It's one of those comic books that it's a deep cut kind of comic book nerd.
It's like the Island of Misfit Toys.
Yeah, you're going. But you're going deep as far as you are a respected comic book collector. If you were like, oh yeah, Creature Commandos, I'll collect all those books, then you got my respect. It's not one of those books. I'm like the typical Spider-Man guy, the typical Superman guy, Spawn, stuff like that. Guardians of the Galaxy, Creatures Commandos, I will only know of these from when they, put them up on cartoons. At first I thought, oh my God, he's about to make a movie of this, but then it said an animated series. So I'm not surprised that this was one of the animated ones. This is either going to be, James Gunn announced that there's the DCEU proper, the TV shows, and then there's the off-world video games, and then there's the off-world movies, where the movies that don't connect with the DCEU. At the very least, I thought that this was going to be a DC, but not connected with the DCU kind of universe, like a one-shot kind of. I thought that would have been fun, but we're getting an animated. I know it's the DC animation stuff is good for me so far. I love it, especially Harley Quinn. If it's anything like that, I don't know if he's gonna continue. I hope James continues to go R-rated with with Peacemaker and the I keep saying Hollywood Harley Quinn style of it, but maybe not. Maybe this is going to be fun for the whole family kind of thing. But live action version, anti-heroes, I hope it's R-rated. But anybody knows anything about that, let me know, because that I'll keep my eye on it. It's not something I'm going to be like super duper excited about it, but it seems like it's a fun little thing. And if it is R-rated, I'm all in because DC is crushing it with the mature stuff. The next one that we had lined up that real fast. The next one, Waller. You read that one out for me, man?
Waller, a spinoff of Gunn's own HBO Max hit series Peacemaker. Viola Davis will return as the ruthless and morally ambiguous head of a government task force. It is being written by Crystal Henry of The Watchmen and Jeremy Carver, the creator of the Doom Patrol TV series.
You had me right there. But this is the thing that I was talking about earlier when James and Peter Safran were announced to be taking over DC Studios. I knew. People were like, well, he's going to get rid of everything if he's getting rid of Henry Cavill and all this stuff is getting rebooted and stuff. I said from day one, he's not going to get rid of his stuff. Even if he reboots everything, I knew Peacemaker was safe. And anything connected with Peacemaker. That's why I'm not surprised that Waller's getting her own thing. You have a chance to work with Viola Davis.
I love Viola Davis, so.
I'm married to Viola. That's a real name, by the way.
I rarely ever hear that name, but
it's on the screen right now.
I love her, so I'm all about that.
But I mean, I knew that but it opens the door because I mean, with the Snyder stuff and then it being connected with what with the like Harley Quinn character, Harley Quinn being connected to Suicide Squad being connected to Viola Davis being connected to Peacemaker. If you keep Peacemaker, which I think he is, and you're making a Viola Waller spinoff, now I predict this, even if Viola Davis is only in like the first season, I eventually felt like maybe her character Amanda Waller would have like died, and then her daughter would have eventually become a badass, like she kind of was like fighting against becoming like her mother, but then she seems to be just as ruthless as her mom, if not right there up there with her. I think she's going to be. I predicted maybe she was, but now we see this, that Viola Davis is coming back and reprising her role as Amanda Waller. I mean, her daughter is a Waller too, so and it's just called Waller. So I'm wondering about that. If Viola Davis is only signed up for maybe short appearances or maybe one season, I think her daughter is. I think the Viola Davis character, the Amanda Waller character, is going to die, and her daughter is going to become the new Waller. But that's my prediction. What's the question?
No, Nixon is saying, yeah, you did say Peacemaker wasn't going anywhere.
It wasn't going anywhere. Ain't no, dude. After all the shit that James Gunn went through, getting his Disney contract taken from him going to Warner Brothers, fighting his way back, then getting his Guardians of the Galaxy back, then becoming the head of the studio. No, and on top of that, Peacemaker is like the #1 show for DC in HBO Max. It was a big surprise, and it made a lot of people appreciate his not almost said Doom Patrol, his Suicide Squad a little bit more, because once you have, I mean, it wasn't, for some reason it wasn't well received, but it was awesome. It was better than the first one. And then when you put it side by side with Peacemaker, it makes it even that more brilliant. Now you're just trying to figure out what crazy, it's 10 o'clock. It's past 10 o'clock. It's midnight somewhere. It's some crazy shit that James is gonna do. But I think, but people are gonna get upset with this. It's like, well, if this character's still there, if Peacemaker's here, then that means that Harley Quinn should be in the DC universe, and then why are we getting rid of Henry Cavill? It's gonna get confusing. But I just say I'm just gonna roll with it. That's just on me. That's me. All right. What's the next one we got? I'm looking forward to that one. I think that if they make it just as crazy as Peacemaker, which I hope they do, I hope they keep it in the same vein as Peacemaker. But then again, Amanda Waller is serious, so maybe it'll be more serious. I don't know. You know one of the main reasons why I knew that Peacemaker wasn't going anywhere, because it's his pet project, and his new his fiance is the star of it. She's probably having fun doing that show. His fiance is like, no, you better not cancel that. And he's like, yeah, you're right, babe. I don't think we should. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that. You know what? Let me stop before some rumors get started. Okay, what's the next one?
Lanterns. Greg Berlanti's long in the work Green Lanterns TV series has been scrapped, and the duo have parted ways with the longtime DC series steward. In its place will be a new take on the space cops with power rings. Our vision for this is very much in the vein of True Detective, Safran described. It's terrestrial based. It will feature prominent Lantern heroes Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and is one of the most important shows they have in development. This plays a really big role in leading into the main story we are telling across film and TV.
This one's the most interesting one to me. You remember Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern? Did you ever watch that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever watch the
It's been a long time, but yes.
So
well, I'm a huge Ryan Reynolds fan, so yeah.
Now, same character, Hal Jordan, but then you have another fan favorite, Jon Stewart, the Green Lantern that came after him, the Black Green Lantern. To me, I mean, DC purists like, no, Hal Jordan is the Green Lantern, and they are technically right. Even though Hal Jordan wasn't the first Green Lantern, he is the quintessential Green Lantern. He is the quintessential. If I'm saying that right, Green Lantern. He's the standard bearer. He's the guy. But in a close second, I'm gonna say close because I like him better. It's Jon Stewart. I love his Green Lantern character. He's funnier to me. I like because he's one of those brothers that's just like all business, very serious type of dude. But he's always in these effed up situations like love triangles and stuff that just it's funny as hell. It's just, but I just like it. But anywho, the description of True Detective. I only saw like season 1 of True Detective, but that show that's dark. So I'm curious how you're going to make a Green Lantern, because the Green Lantern Corps is like a space police type of thing, and these two Green Lanterns, I guess, are going to be zoned to Earth. I guess that's their turf, their beat that they're protecting. But they're going to be going through missions and storylines that are in the vein of a gritty, very R-rated, mature True Detective. So it's not going to be anything like what you remember from the Ryan Reynolds version. They're going to make a very serious Green Lantern. So if anything, I'm curious on how they're going to pull this off. I heard that people are thinking about, imagine this, Lethal Weapon, but with magic rings. that's kind of what the rumors and stuff that I've been hearing about that. Just being a casual moviegoer, does this even interest you at all? I think this is a TV show, right? This is still
TV
we're still on
series.
TV. What do you think about this? Does this interest you at all? I mean, did you watch True Detective or any of those shows? I mean, you would.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just hoping that they do
I'm more
the
along
Lethal Weapon thing.
I'm more along the lines of the Men in Black style.
That's it. Yeah, maybe a Men in Black. You know what? That might be the best way to describe it. Men in Black. Hey, I feel like it's got promise. I would have preferred this to be a movie.
I mean, obviously, if they want this to be their crown jewel, then, I mean,
yeah,
you will hope that it comes out across good.
Yeah,
because it's not. It seems to be something that they really want to be the best.
it seems like something that they want to really take seriously. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. It's very curious. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next one. Still staying with TV. Paradise Lost. What do we got?
The duo described this HBO Max series as a Game of Thrones style drama set on the all-female island that is Wonder Woman's birthplace. I don't remember how you say that. The Themyscira?
Themyscira.
Filled with political intrigue and scheming between power players, it takes place before the events of the Wonder Woman films.
What do you think about a Game of Thrones style remember Wonder Woman's Island from the Wonder Woman movies, right? Add a Game of Thrones element to it. All the politics and the schemers.
I think
it's going to be a lot of business happening.
If we
there.
get some drama, some Falcon Crest, some old dynasty type style.
I think guys
soapy.
I think. Wait, did you say soapy?
Oh,
soap never mind. I'm thinking about a different soapy. Never mind. Go ahead.
You're terrible.
Go ahead.
Soap opera, drama.
Soap opera. Okay. I mean, it's an island full of women. You said soapy. You guys were thinking the same thing I was thinking. And in the chat, real quick to go back to the. Okay, so I was talking to our navigator Nixon earlier, and she thought that the Jon Stewart character from Green Lantern, she was like, Jon Stewart from the Daily Show is going to be a Green in the DC movies? Like, no. And I was like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, you thought this was going to be he said, you ever powered your Green Lantern ring? Have you ever powered your Green Lantern ring on weed? Like, no, they're not going to. James Gunn would do some crazy shit like that. But no, that's not the same Jon Stewart. But also, I'm sorry. We were, but back on Paradise Lost. A Game of Thrones, very sexy, Wonder Woman, soapy. Your words, not mine. You said soapy.
Nixon says death by snoo-snoo. She's ready for it.
Death by snoo-snoo. And every villain every week better be taken out by the snoo-snoo. Your words, not mine. Everybody in the chat room that's just as disgusting and we're thinking when she said soapy, that's exactly what we were all thinking it. We're all thinking it now. All right. But yeah, that's the one.
I personally think that one could do well.
That's one you would be interested in seeing, huh? That one. Even though Wonder Woman Part 2 wasn't as well received as Part 1, the opening scene where it was the flashback as her as a kid when they were on Themyscira, and it was two different movies. I mean, like everything else that came afterwards, it was like the tone totally shifted. But that flashback scene with the race and everything was just like the flashback and everything that was happening in the first movie. It was that same tone. You keep that tone, maybe darker. It says Game of Thrones right there. This is HBO, so oh man. So I that one I you know what I said I was more interested in Green Lantern. No, this is the one I'm more excited about, especially if my wife was writing it. She said she would have everybody all soaped up. That's her words, not mine. Move on. What's the next one? Let us know what you guys think about it and about the Paradise Lost concept, because I'm excited about that. But definitely one of my most anticipated ones is one of my favorite characters in the DCU, Booster Gold. What do we have with this one, Boo?
An HBO Max series based on a unique and lower-tiered hero created in 1986. Safran said of the series, "It's about a loser from the future who uses basic future technology to come back to today and pretend to be a superhero." Gunn described it as imposter syndrome as superhero.
I don't know if you know anything about the Booster Gold. I've tried to show you some clips of Booster Gold. Yeah, that's exactly what he is. He's a dude from a basic dude from the future who decides to go back in time and play a superhero. Almost superhero, like if I'm not mistaken, superhero for hire. He like monetizes. He gets sponsors. He comes back to the 21st century because he in the future he's a loser. He's a basic loser, but with that technology, that basic technology in the future and today's standards, he's amazing, and he's getting all these sponsorship deals. He's got tennis shoes and stuff. The person that people I hear the name, and I want you guys to suggest some names to me, but the name I hear the most, especially with Gunn being in charge, Chris Pratt. That's the name that I hear the most with playing that character. Even though it's very similar to Star-Lord because of the way the arrogance and all that kind of stuff, I think it would be a good fit for that character based on what I've seen. I've only seen Booster Gold in cartoons, but I'm excited about that. Did I show you any of the Booster Gold stuff? I got to show you stuff. What do we got in the chat?
World's biggest geek.
I'll be the judge of that. No, what's that?
Has 2 comments. He's super excited. I don't know if that's a he or she. Super excited for all the changes and new beginnings, and hopefully we'll get to see the original Justice League with Martian Manhunter.
Do you mean the Justice League from? You talking about the original? When you say original, are you talking about the movies, or do you mean like the Justice League from the comic books and stuff? Like are you talking about the actors from the Snyderverse? Because if that's what you're thinking, that's not happening. But
and then also says, I feel so bad for DC Legends of Tomorrow in the introduced Booster Gold. I thought we were going to get them in season 8 of the show, but I'm ready to see this take on Booster Gold himself.
I agree. Yeah, I'm excited about seeing Booster Gold in live action. Oh, what's his name? The TV show, the Rookie. I think because they wanted him to play
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion's name comes up a lot.
Or he
Booster
did like
Gold
what,
is one of the names as well.
Firefly.
Nathan Fillion is the name that came up for the what's that video game adaptation with Mark Wahlberg that the current Spider-Man did. What's that movie that he did? Anyway, he played a character that Nathan Fillion's always names come up with. I've heard Nathan Fillion brought up for Booster Gold, but I think Chris Pratt would be a better fit. But that might be too obvious. I mean, we got James Gunn, but Dave Bautista is definitely on board with jumping ship. He just had a meeting, so let's see. But I'm not saying Dave Bautista for Booster Gold. I'm just saying that the Guardians of the Galaxy actors they love working with Gunn. So let's see who comes aboard. But yeah, World's Biggest Geek. You know what? Yeah, I now agree. You earned the title. World's Biggest Geek. Congrats, you got it. What's the next topic that's coming up? First on the film list.
Swamp Thing, a horror film that promises to close out the first part of the first chapter.
That's the part that confused that closed out the first chapter, meaning that short-lived TV show. There was a TV show Swamp Thing that was on when early HBO Max or right before HBO Max was invented. There was the Swamp Thing TV series, came out around the same times as Doom Patrol and Titans, and there was some. To me, I was so uninterested in not the show, but the politics that was going on behind the scene. There was some BS with the show creators or the producers about that show. They canceled it the day after the first episode aired. They put in all this money. It was a very expensive series to create, and one of the show creators or the producers, I don't know, something was up his butt about it. He decided to pull the trigger and kill it before any data even came out about if anybody was watching it. And according to people, they let the season finish out, but they announced it after episode 1. Oh, this is canceled, but enjoy the rest of the season. So I'm wondering if that's what he meant. A horror film that's promised to close out the first part of the first chapter. Does he mean the first chapter meaning that season, that series, or do you mean the first chapter of
his plan
of his phases? I'm thinking that's probably what it means. He's probably it's closing out his phases. So that's what it's more likely that's probably what Gunn is talking about. But I'm now wondering if it's connected with. I don't think it's connected to the old show that was canceled, that was short-lived. So it's more likely he's talking about his the first chapter of this phase. Let's see. I don't know. If you guys have any more details on that, let me know. I might be wrong about that. Next one that came up, Supergirl,
Woman of Tomorrow. Taking its cues from the recent Tom King written miniseries, this movie project promises to have a different take than what most think of when the idea of Superman's cousin comes to mind. We will see the difference between Superman, who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents from the time he was an infant, versus Supergirl, raised on a rock, a chip off of Krypton, and who watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life, and then come to Earth. She is much more hardcore and not the Supergirl we're used to.
This is that's interesting because only as far as the films, the only example that we have is that flop Supergirl movie that came out in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
That was supposed to have Christopher Reeves in it, and they cut that scene out. But a jaded, I never heard of this story before about her, living her life out on a big old ass chunk of Krypton that's just floating around in space. Is that what we're talking about? I've seen the version where she was sent to Earth to protect her little baby cousin. She traveled later. He made it to Earth like 30 years before she did. Was able to grow up. He's no longer. She's looking for a baby. He's not a baby. She doesn't even speak. She speaks Kryptonian, and she's like laying low. And I think there was an animated series that I saw, and she's like a total threat. Completely raw with her powers. All she knows is that she's a powerful being looking for her baby cousin, who she feels might be in danger. And among all of us us primitives, and she is just chunking cars, like laying waste and doing. And she's a problem, a threat in the beginning. This is kind of what I felt like. I've always wanted them to go in that direction. I don't think they're going to do that, but I think she's going to have. Whereas Superman, we'll talk about Superman a little bit later, seems like he's going to be more of a lighthearted character. The Supergirl seems like she might be a darker toned version of maybe I'm wrong about that. But I mean, you grew up raised on a rock watching everybody die around you for 14 years. Then you're not going to be happy. So I'm thinking that's going to be what we're gonna get. So. Let me go to the next one because we gotta rush through the next one. Couple of these guys because I'm hungry again and I'm tired. We don't usually do the show this late. What's the next one? I mean,
the Batman sequel. Pattinson will continue to portray the Dark Knight in at least one more crime saga movie directed by Matt Reeves. That movie, the executives revealed, will be released October 3rd, 2025, and is being titled The Batman Part 2. 2025 is going to be a very big year for DC. Crowed Safran, Superman and Batman within the same year.
So we're going to get Superman and Batman within the same year. This is one of the DC movie projects that's going to be outside of the DCU, obviously, like it's always been. So we're going to have another Batman. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Pattinson's off DCU, Batman, unconnected, that's what I'll say. A movie will continue. It's funny how he says at least one more, because when you didn't have to say that. So now I'm thinking that's it. I'm thinking that's the last one. I mean, you got the Penguin spinoff that's about to come, unless Batman Part 2 makes a crazy amount of money, and so it's just as beloved as like The Dark Knight was when Christopher Nolan. I don't see. Maybe they'll close it out with a trilogy, but to put that in there, at least one more, indicates that they're at least talking just one at a time. We're just taking one movie at a time. The last one was well received. Let's do Part 2. But I'm hearing if the second one is just okay or just as well as received as the first one, maybe they won't finish out the third one. But if it's a super, super hit, which I feel like it could be, the first one was really good. They're going to take it one movie at a time. I don't know. It just feels like that's because they've made it clear that they do not want a whole bunch of Batman in different, movies running around played by different actors, all, running around confusing people and stuff, because that'll hurt the brand. Then you'll have the clash of the fans. I like Pattinson's Batman better. I like the new Batman better. No, well, actually, I like Ben Affleck's Batman. Then you're going to bring up Ben Affleck again and then Michael Keaton. So I think that was interesting that they brought that up. Anything that's coming up?
World's Biggest Geek is excited for Supergirl.
That's the soapy version? Yeah, me too.
No, Supergirl.
Oh, never mind. I hear what I want to hear.
Wondering if this should be a team-up movie.
I think there's going to be people in it, other characters in it. I think there's going to be some people for her to team up with, or to at least introduce. Gunn in his announcement said that you're going to the whole universe. You're going to see cameos, and you're going to see it expand. Even if it's, I mean, this is a Supergirl movie. We're going to see maybe a Batman might show up. Maybe obviously, I feel like Superman might whoever's going to be the new Superman is going to cameo in it, because who else is going to be there? I mean, her whole purpose is to find her baby cousin. Then she gets surprised to figure out that he grew up and he's now older than her. Now she's the baby. That's the obvious choice. So I agree. I think to me, I think that's obvious. All right, what's the next topic? I'm asking myself that question. What is the next one? The next one is, that's the wrong one. There we go. That's an old topic. Hold on, let me fix that. There we go. All right, the next one. What's the next one we got?
The Brave and the Bold. This is the introduction of the DCU Batman, said Gunn, of Bruce Wayne, and also introduces our favorite Robin, Damian Wayne, who is a little son of a bitch. This movie will take inspiration from the now classic Batman, written by Grant Morrison, that introduced Batman to a son he never knew existed, a murderous tween raised by assassins. It's a very strange father and son story, and importantly, it will feature a Batman not played by Robert Pattinson.
Right. As we were talking about earlier, this is the most interesting Batman news so far. You're reintroducing Robin. You're theoretically going back to what John Campea on his show says is a mistake, having Robin being played by, instead of a 18-year-old or older, young man, going comic book accurate and having them be like 10, 11, or 12. But I think Damian Wayne, and you guys in the chat, if you disagree or not, I know it's problematic having Batman, look like a dude that definitely should be on the run, not from the Penguin, but from Child Protective Services, having a 10-year-old jumping over rooftops and fighting bad guys. But Damian Wayne is a beast. He threatens to even kill Batman all the time. He's like the secret love child of a woman that Batman, Talia al Ghul. I don't know if you remember. You remember the third Christopher Nolan movie? Remember? I don't know if you remember. But it was Bane, and then that woman that betrayed him at the end, like cut him like that. I'm the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. Yeah. So that love interest. They have a secret, a son that he keeps secret from Batman for years, raises him in that assassin's upbringing. He's a trained, killing machine. And then they decide to let him be, after a certain age, let him be raised by his father so he can, be better, I guess. So, but he's not like any of the other Robins. He takes the Robin mantle, but he's a little asshole. And he's always threatening to kill people, and he will. I mean, the dude swings a sword around. He goes for the kill. He is being trained like not to kill. He has to. It's a crazy. He talks back. There's been Robins that talk back, but this kid, it's like the movie Kick-Ass, almost. And that's why I think it would. That's the part that excites me, because I'm like, I would be okay with him being played by like a 13, 14 year old who's training to eventually become Robin. And then when he's 18, then you can get out there in the street. Maybe 16, 17, maybe that's old enough. I mean, it worked for Kick-Ass. If you're going to go into the Kick-Ass vein, I don't have a problem with Robin. The Brave and the Bold, I just think that's why I chose that picture. That's the only cartoon that I've ever seen from Brave. I never read any of the comic books that said Brave and the Bold. I only know the cartoon. It was funny to me, but I feel like this is if you're gonna have Damian Wayne, it's got to be serious, it's got to be gritty. I don't know what direction they're gonna go with it, but I'm hoping that I keep thinking of Kick-Ass. I don't know why. I think that would be funny as hell. I mean,
and that had some, not really humor. It's a different kind of humor.
And Damian's a different type of humor.
It's a darker humor.
Uh-huh.
It's not slapstick, ha ha ha.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're right. All right, so what's the next one that we got coming up?
The Authority, a movie based on a team of superheroes with rather extreme methods of protecting the planet that first originated in the late 1990s under an influential imprint known as Wildstorm, run by artist and now head of DC Publishing Jim Lee. One of the things of the DCU is that it's not just a story of heroes and villains, said Gunn. Not every film and TV show is going to be about good guys versus bad guys. Giant things from the sky comes and the good guy wins. There are white hats, black hats, and gray hats, added Safran. They are kind of like Jack Nicholson and A Few Good Men. They know that you want them on the wall, or at least they believe that.
This one is interesting. I don't know much about The Authority. It was a brief time back in the day. I want to say, was it in the 90s? Maybe I was still in high school, where I learned a little bit about these characters. There was something about their version of their Superman-like character and the guy at the bottom, that they're the Batman-looking type of character. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not going to spoil anything, but let's just say kind of like what we just saw in The Last of Us episode 3 with the two guys. Something like a relationship like that. And I was like, and this was back when I was in high school. I was like, really? Like what? And it was an interesting, but the reason why it was very unique. It was something I never seen before, and I was like, that was a very bold, very very bold storylines in that book. I was shocked. It wasn't what I was reading at the time. I was into Spawn then, but I don't know much about The Authority, but that description, it's kind of like Jack Nicholson and A Few Good Men. So I'm assuming it's going to get very political, very deep, and the type of things that they discuss. So if you guys know anything about it, let me know in the comment section. I don't know much about The Authority, but can't go wrong with if you're going to go in that vein. I like political thrillers. So maybe I'm thinking about the same comic book that I'm thinking about from the 90s. But or maybe not. Like I said, I didn't read it, so maybe I'm off on that. All right, what's the last? I think this is the last one. What's the last one that we have?
Superman Legacy, the movie featuring the Man of Steel that Gunn is writing and may direct, although no commitments on that end have been made. While the two previous titles are meant to be aperitives, in Safran's words, Superman is the true kickoff for the duo's DCU plans. It's not an origin story, Safran said. It focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. He is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way. He is kindness in a world that thinks kindness is old-fashioned. A release date of July 11th, 2025 has been penciled in.
That's another thing that James Gunn said, that no movie was going to ever get announced unless there was already a script. So everything that was announced, that indicates there's a script for all of these, at least the beginning of a script, or an approved script. Don't get anything twisted, guys. This is the movie that James Gunn is going to direct himself. He is going to, who should I hire to be my director of one of my favorite characters? Well, I'll just hire myself. He's hiring himself. He's going to put himself at the lead of this. And a James Gunn Superman has the potential to be one of the most unique. I mean, he takes this stuff seriously. He is a DC geek. So I'm worried that everybody's going to feel like he's going to James Gunn it up. He's going to be like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, no, I don't think so.
So it's not an original story, but are we talking about he said he is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way.
I'm even surprised he said that, because that's not even the logo anymore.
So are we talking about
like the old shucks?
No, like the Superman from Christopher Reeve's.
That's what
Superman.
I'm talking about.
I'm the little dorky.
Yeah, everything. Remember when Lois made fun of him for saying swell? Oh, it's swell.
It's just swell.
Yeah,
Gee Willikers.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's he's.
But even when he was as Superman, everything was.
He was very upbeat.
Thank you, ma'am. No, ma'am. What can I do for you?
And
my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Well, that's what they said that was missing from the Henry Cavill version, that he was too dark and he wasn't inspiring hope. I thought eventually it was getting there, but I can see what I can see how they felt about that. And I thought he smiled enough, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't need to see Superman, rescuing cats from trees all the damn time. I mean, that shit worked in the 80s and stuff. That's fine. I don't want to see another Superman movie like Superman Returns where the only thing he's doing is just picking up a bunch of heavy shit. I don't want to see that. I want to I like seeing Superman get into some fighting some big tough baddies that could go toe to toe with him.
Well, I think that's why he added the other sentence. He is kindness in a world that
is full of darkness.
Now like nobody wants to hear that. Yes, no, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
If that's part of the gag, if we still get a good action sequences and stuff like that, it's James Gunn. We're going to, but if he can find a funny balance in there where he's living in a world that's all jaded and they were like, we're tired of Superman, and
he's still shining,
and he's
bright.
still like, gee, son, I hope get home safe. You know what movie that reminds me of? It reminds me of RoboCop 2. When they reprogram RoboCop to be nice, and he tells the kids, he cuts the kid their playtime off. They were playing in some water. He cuts the water off. He's like, he gives that stern little talking to. And that kid was like, "Go fuck a refrigerator." That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. If they give us that, if he's all like, "Here, ma'am, here's your cat. This isn't my fucking cat." He throws it, and she throws it over her shoulder. If the whole world is like, and he's still kind of like optimistic and like, she didn't mean it. Like have a good night, ma'am. I would love that. That's the movie. But people would consider that too gimmicky, If they found a way to make it kind of fit, and I'm writing a movie, that's probably nowhere near what he's gonna do with it. But I would laugh. If nobody really thinks of Superman being funny. I think there's a challenge. If you can make Superman funny, but still if the action and the threat and then, the building of the universe was still there, I would be up for that. What do you guys think? I mean, would you be up for a funny-ish Superman? I don't know. I mean, I don't, do you see funny coming out of this? Is an old Seinfeld argument. I mean, he's got super strength, super mentality. He should have a super humor. Like, he should be the funniest man in the world. But he's not. He's not funny at all. He's dorky. But what he's doing is he's playing dorky because that's how he sees us. Superman is not really dorky. That geeky that he plays when he's Clark Kent is how he sees us. That's the bit. That's how weak and small he sees us. That's what Clark Kent represents. So I don't know. Maybe they'll play that up. I mean, but having Clark Kent boy shucks through the whole movie while criminals are like trying to kick him in the balls and curse him out, because I was trying to commit suicide. I didn't ask you to save me, kind of stuff. I wanted that would be hilarious. I would love that, but that's just me writing the movie. All right, that's everything from what James Gunn announced, guys. I'm looking forward to it. I just wanted to really talk about it because we're buzzing about it. We're talking about it. I didn't want to let the whole day get by, and we usually cover these things on Thursdays. Just to do a little catching up, guys, we were having one of the other reasons why I wanted to do this show tonight was because I've took my glasses off like I'm about to make an announcement. Right? This is the last episode. No, it's not the last episode of The Rundown. We were having some technical difficulties throughout the week, and now we're going back to the old system. And I was really just testing it out to see if it would work. And it seems like the old computer, that top looks like she still got some life in it. So hopefully, when we go back live on Thursday night when the whole crew with me, my wife Joy, and Tabitha comes back, it'll go off without a hitch. See, it seems like this show didn't really go too badly. It seemed like it was good. So that's all. That's what I wanted to talk about.
The mic just wasn't on there.
The mic, yeah, that was my fault. I had the mic. I had the mic turned off, and thanks to the navigator for telling me that it was off, and so I humble myself before you and beg your forgiveness. So, jeez, all right, give me a break. The whole system wouldn't even turn on when I first plugged everything on. Otherwise, we'd have started like 15 minutes earlier. So, God, give me a break. I'm trying to figure this shit out. And I don't want anybody coming up to me 2 weeks later after I upload this video talking about there's some noise in the sound effect. Your microphone sucks. I know it sucks. Leave me alone. I'm doing the best I can. But the rundown is going to move to eventually, I'm trying to go back to at least 3 days out of the week, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. So that's what I'm testing out. Now, I know it's Tuesday, but we might do a rundown tomorrow. On Wednesdays and Fridays, it will be. I'm thinking about moving the rundown to the early afternoon, because that's what the analytics says that when most of our subscribers are watching, is in the earlies of the afternoon. But the rundown night show on Thursdays is still going to be a thing. So it might be a rundown episode, a short one, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and then an extra one on Thursday night. So eventually. But maybe that starts this week. Maybe that starts next week. Maybe that starts a month from now. But look forward to more content from us if you guys want to see it. Appreciate you guys watching this today. Appreciate World's Greatest Geek and our Navigator Nixon for helping us out in the chat room. If you haven't become a subscriber already, please hit the subscribe button. Think about becoming a subscriber. We really appreciate it. We're trying to put out some good content for you guys. Or, unsubscribe because you think we suck. I understand. I only think that I'm funny. I appreciate you guys for at least watching this tonight. And share your thoughts in the comment section and below and let us know your thoughts on that. And if anything you want us to run down, send us whatever you got. Your favorite DC movie, your favorite Marvel movie, your favorite horror movie, your favorite Instagram models list. Send that to me personally. And put it in the comment section and we'll run it down. Thank you for my lovely wife, Joy. If people want to find you online, where can the people do that?
I've got my Instagram, Scrub Hats and More by Joy, and my Etsy store, Scrub Caps and More by Joy, and my TikTok, which is now Viola Fagan. We changed it.
Yeah.
Still getting used to it.
Yeah, it flashed up there. It went up there. So if you guys, especially if you're in the medical field, if you know anybody that's in the medical field, like she does Scrub Hats, she does and more by Joy.
I do.
I'm going to enjoy a little bit of that more.
We're going to work on a costume for Tab.
Oh, yeah. For Comic Palooza and stuff. Yeah, we're trying to get those invites before we have to come out of the pocket and whatnot. But guys, if you want to reach out to me, it's always Chris W. Fagan or at Th3 Medias on all the social medias. That's TikTok, that's Instagram, and on Twitter or whatever. Anywhere, it's at Chris W. Fagan or at Th3 Medias. I monitor both of those. So always send me your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, your rumors, your theories, all that good stuff. Anything you want to talk about with James Gunn. Or anything you want to talk about, check out our reviews and things like that, and send us your thoughts always. Till what? Thursday? Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow, if I feel like it. But definitely on Thursday. We'll see you guys. Until then, guys, have a good one. Peace.
Guys, that's the end of this episode of The Rundown. Remember to like this video, become a subscriber, and share. This really does help us out. And click here or here. Thanks for watching.